get it. All right then. So GMG Live episode 5. My man K Sultan, the official K Sultan. So lots to talk about. I would say to start, we've chopped it up a little bit prior, but for the people out there that don't know, I guess I'm curious if you can give them the long short of how you ended up not only in Calgary and in Edmonton, but what kind of role basketball played within that whole tumble of events.
I started off in Pakistan. So I actually started off learning Urdu as my first language, and then obviously moving, I learned a little bit of Arabic in Abu Dhabi. Never knew about basketball. When I came to Canada, it was actually St. John's, Newfoundland. So I ended up.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it was. I actually love Newfoundland to this day. Cool. Some of the nicest people I've ever met. But definitely had to kind of figure myself out because I was moving quite a bit back and forth, and I realized that each year I'm either in Pakistan or Abu Dhabi. So to me, when I came to Canada, I was kind of afraid of making friends. Because I was like, maybe next year we're going to move again because I have no idea what's coming up. Then at a certain point, I remember seeing a basketball hoop and I was like, I've never seen one of these before. What is this? So I actually remember the first shot I've ever taken. The moment it went through, I ran straight to my brother. I was like, you'll never believe this. That's I just put this ball through this hoop and just try. You'll get this weird feeling.
That's so dope.
So instantly that was like my love for basketball really just started at that point. And I kind of got into soccer quite a bit as well, just because my friends were playing quite a bit of soccer and I found it fun as well. But definitely when I had the option to kind of choose between soccer and basketball, it was easily a choice that I already had known for so long that I didn't really have to think about it.
So this is just off the top. Playing soccer, there's very few goals scored.
Yeah.
How do you equate like the feeling of scoring a goal in soccer versus like hitting a big shot in basketball? Is there a comparison?
There kind of is. In soccer, you almost get more fulfillment through. I played midfield, so I guess in every sport there's positions and roles. So in soccer, for me, my goal was to obviously get back on defense, but also set up certain plays. So every time I felt like I made a perfect pass or something, a pass that the defenders didn't see, but I got it to a certain area. That kind of gave me fulfillment, even though there was no goal. But the times that I did end up scoring, it was definitely like,
it gets you juiced up.
You get 2 or 3, you're taking your shirt off.
That's funny. Okay, cool. So within that, I guess now that you're here in Canada, and I'm curious. So basketball has obviously changed your life. It's taken you a lot of places around the globe to cool facilities and being able to play collegiately and all that jazz. I guess I'm curious if you could try and explain how it is that the game itself changed your life and kind of the respect for the game within that.
The game itself honestly taught me a lot more about myself that I had no idea that I was going to learn. Starting off, like I would have never thought that putting a ball through a hoop one time would lead me to get on this path and this journey of trying to make basketball my life like 15 years later.
That's crazy.
So it's pretty insane in the sense that it definitely taught me a lot of work ethic, because in my culture, sometimes when you aren't really good at something, for example, if it's engineering, your parents will push you towards it. Even if you don't like it, you're doing it no matter what. This is it. But if it's something that's outside of the realm of something structured, it's easily taken out of. So if they see me miss a shot, like, oh, maybe basketball isn't for you. You're 5'10". This and that. So there's definitely a lot of challenges that I had to go through in that instance to really figure out how badly do I want to keep this as my life, and what am I willing to do to push through. So culturally, I had a lot of doubts kind of creeping in, like maybe this isn't for me. But then the more I kind of understood it, the more that I realized that this is what I wanted to do. It really taught me how to have like tunnel vision towards my goals. I couldn't let outside noise affect what was internally keeping me going. And I really had to protect that to the point where it's my goals selfishly over everything else. As long as with a healthy balance. Obviously, I didn't really try to ruin my relationships with people through it. But when it came to like if I'm going to a party or if I'm going to the gym, I'm going to the gym.
Gym wins every time. Always. Yeah, no, I'm with you. And that's the beauty in basketball and even in athletics in general, I guess, as a trainer or an athlete, you build this mutual relationship with the game that's kind of, for people that aren't a part of it, don't really understand.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of give and take and understanding. Like you get as much out of it as you put into it, and it's the more you're willing to sacrifice, the more the game rewards you, I guess. And it's funny, and people don't really understand that until you do it.
Yeah.
But it does. The gift of basketball gives back more than people think it does. So I'm with you, which is really cool. So I guess to go a different direction. In terms of basketball itself, people know you're obviously, I guess for those that don't know, in my following, this is a man that's very gifted in the world of editing as well as playing basketball, but there's many people that know you as such. So I'm curious, let's go with basketball first. As a basketball player, growing up and now kind of studying the game and editing and kind of creating craft, is there somebody you look at that you're like, man, I can't get enough of this person and how they play? Or
growing up, I would watch Dwayne Wade all the time. And that was my guy.
Flash.
So
yeah.
That's actually the reason I would study. I actually remember being on YouTube and holding the spacebar down because back then there was no slow motion.
Yeah.
So that was the only way you could get that slow-mo. And I would I would spend hours of just even like seeing it, visualizing it, and then going to the court and trying to mimic that exact same movement. And everyone's kind of like known me for that same hesitation going left. But that was someone who I really kind of looked up to. Then I slowly got into Kobe. I used to hate Kobe. I think a lot of people, if you didn't like Kobe from the start, you either hated him or you loved him.
It's true.
But then I gained so much respect for him, and I kind of understood him as a human being and athlete versus just like a competitor that's going against my favorite player.
Yeah.
So I started taking bits and pieces of different people, and then obviously getting into the game of through Instagram promotions and building a brand itself. I really started seeing Jordan a lot. He was one of those guys that I loved the way he was able to articulate his words, the way he was able to get messages across, and he's just very charismatic. So you're very compelled to listen to what he had to say. And he had great information too. Like he was the one guy, I've even talked to a few guys now, and they'll tell you straight up, like, Jordan's the one guy that could be a trainer, but will give you buckets at
any time.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
So he's a guy I really looked up to, and obviously Micah. Micah was someone who I really started seeing on YouTube early on, because back then there wasn't as many people. But I remember he had this message called the Be Blind message, and I used to watch that before going to sleep, set my timers and my alarms to get ready to wake up and get going. But there's definitely, I can't really contribute it to like one specific person. I've always kind of, even if it's someone that I don't like, like I'll take bits and pieces of good that they're doing and then kind of reapply it to my own. Yeah,
very, very cool. And it's cool too, because I can resonate with all those people in different ways. Like Kobe, I didn't like him initially, and I actually never really had found my I guess, investment in Kobe's brain until he actually retired. And then I really started to respect him. He started doing these talk shows and these like detail, and I actually heard him speak his mind more. The dude amazes me. Like one of my favorite quotes is when he started writing children's books, and everybody made those bets about how like Kobe can't retire, Kobe will never play again, and he's so competitive. He's like, no, just because people said that, I'll never touch a basketball again. Like that's like how, because he's just like just to tell those people wrong. It's just like who Kobe is. So yeah, he's awesome, and the way he sacrifices for everyone. Jordan, again, I can relate. Jordan's a good guy. I spent a lot of time with him, and the thing between him and Micah, Lancaster, and them, it's just like I love this. There's this consistent joy within tribulation. It's like they love problem solving in the world of basketball, and like Jordan, Micah, all these guys, it's just like there's this investment in understanding how the game just kind of speaks its own language, and they want to kind of decipher it. So. Very, very cool. I love all those answers. So then I guess, as people know now, you are in Canada, not the US. And many people, I mean, being a Canadian, as you can relate, and then you go to other parts of the world where you speak about Canada. Like, you played hockey? Did you play hockey growing up? There's never anything about basketball or... So I want people to know your heart behind this, because I really admire it as well. Why it is you intend to just kind of build the love for basketball and the culture here where you are now in Edmonton and Calgary in that area?
No, it's been, I've found it very hard for me to call a place home for a very long time, because even between Pakistan and United Arab Emirates, I wasn't just there at specific years. Like, I was back and forth each year. So for me to kind of be settled down in one spot for a very long time has definitely had like a special place in my heart. And what I see every year for the past few years is people trying to build something and end up finding out that they're talented in a certain realm, like for instance, video editing for me, and get approached by different companies and organizations from throughout the world. And it's very easy to just get up and get going and take, because ultimately people see it as, oh, I need to get out of here. I need to find a way out. And that's the mentality. Whereas I've always wanted to have the mentality of, I want things that are elsewhere in the world be brought back to your own city. I don't think there should be the need to go elsewhere to get better. And that's probably like the biggest reason why. Because I have like even guys like Ephriam.
Love the kid. Shout out Ephriam.
He's always looking to get better. And for kids like that, that's the reason that I really am driven to creating those programs locally versus just taking them elsewhere and giving them to people that already have similar opportunities from other people doing something in the same realm.
Yes, sir. And Ephriam, I'm going to talk about Ephriam for a minute, because Ephriam's a young. That's so cool that we have that connection. Story about Ephriam for kids out there that want to understand what it takes and the desire to get better. Not only has he reached out to my guy in terms of training, but he actually called me. It might have been a month ago. He reached out to me, and it's bold for a kid to just reach out in general, but he's like, I want your phone number. I want to talk to you about nutrition too, because he's kind of seen my body stuff, and he's like, he made me phone. We sat on the phone for 45 minutes chopping it up about just what he should be eating and why and when and blah, blah. I could hear him with his paper and notes. I'm like, that there's a drive in those kids here. That it's sad that they feel like they can only supplement that by going other places. So that's pretty cool. Again, shout out to Ephriam. That's funny. He's gonna be jazzed up. He's so happy he's in here. All right. So moving into more question phases, I guess. As a trainer first, is there a drill that you do or want to do? Is there like your favorite of all time? Is there a name for it? Is there a way you do it?
I wouldn't say there's a favorite drill.
Okay.
I think it's all based on, like, if you're having fun. I have fun drills, and then I have like actual drills that are kind of building. But one of the biggest things that I learned from Micah was he doesn't actually have a structured plan. He actually studied the game so much that he understands it so much, and he's able to look at a player's weakness within that moment and then have a specific drill for it, which I think is amazing, because ultimately you don't go in with a structured program, because if someone's already good at it, then you're just showing them how good they are versus how bad they are. And that's the biggest difference between like guys like Jordan and Micah, is they're trying to show you how bad you are at basketball. You suck at the sport.
Of course. Let me make you uncomfortable.
Exactly. So I wouldn't say there's a specific one. If there's one that I personally like, it's the hesitation game where both hands are behind your back.
Didn't Paul Fabritz make? I think that's when he. Sure. I keep going. I think I know what you're talking about. At the free throw line ish, and then you have to go side to side. You try to freeze him.
That one's one of my personal favorites.
That one's fire. The way I discovered that was through Paul Fabritz. We're gonna give everybody a shout out. Shout out to PJ at Performance, greatest podcast probably ever. Anyway, he was working out Shabazz Napier back in the day. And that's when I first saw that drill. He had his hands behind the back, and Shabazz was going side to side in the free throw line trying to freeze him up. Yeah, that's a great drill. That one's fun. Fun to compete that way. Sweet. Okay, and then before we kind of get into the wild rapid fire side of things, I guess I'm curious, is there one quote or like lesson, there's a moment in your life that kind of hit you that's like something that's just kind of buried you and stuck with you?
Will Smith said this, and I'm actually talking about this in a YouTube video that I'm making, is like when I really had that switch. And it was, being realistic is the most commonly traveled road to mediocrity. So what I really had to like think about that a few times, and essentially like what my parents want from me, and nothing against my parents, I love my parents,
I'm with you,
but culturally, like, they want structure and something that's realistic, and me wanting to do something that they don't understand is deemed unrealistic. Alongside with a lot of other people. I'm sure you've had this where people are like, "Oh, dude, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You should just work at this. This isn't gonna work."
Yeah.
So to me, the unrealistic approach is really the approach that I've always felt like I wanted to take. I never really felt like I was meant to sit in a desk for a 9 to 5, and I know for a fact I would have never been comfortable doing so.
Yeah.
So that quote definitely hit me real hard in 2014. And that's the moment that I just decided to. I actually ended up buying like $5,000 worth of equipment. No idea how to use any of it.
That's awesome.
And I just told myself that I was going to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I got to this point.
And that's honestly, that's kind of how it is. It's just when you submit to what it is you've been created to do, and it just happens. It's like there's kind of that overflow. Like there's the analogy I like to use too is there's people that swim with the current, let the current take them.
Yeah.
Right. And there's like some guys are fighting upstream to just do what it is they think they've been made to do, and other people are just kind of let the current take them. And it's like that moment. It's like, all right, here's 5 G's. I don't know what's happening, but I'm like, I'm just we're gonna figure it out. Like I remember the first time I landed in China and I went to the gym. It was already awful because it was like 40 degrees out Celsius, 100 Fahrenheit or higher for all you Americans out there. I don't even know how that works. But anyway, 100% humidity. Like, I'm a 6'1" white dude, and I'm in the gym with a bunch of monsters. Like, first day that I was just getting jump shots are getting blocked. Like, it was just like, and I remember it was just like, man, am I really? Like, and of course, from that day forever ago, like all those people that were like, I don't know if this is quite your thing. Like, no, I remember that was kind of the day I just dug in and that quote, kind of like what you said, that guy by the name of Bryce Hill told me, he's just like, the day you become comfortable with making excuses is the same day you become comfortable with being defeated. He's like, you can't just, that's how you know. And that's just kind of, it just sat with me, and I was like, no, it's ever since that day, same thing, that switch. I like that concept. So, sweet. All right, so rapid fire moment. I don't know what I'm going to ask you. So we don't know what's going to happen, but you just got to answer as fast. That's all I ask, okay? And it could be a long answer, could be short.
Okay.
But I asked Jordan this question, and it made me laugh, so I'm going to start there. Spirit animal, off the top of your head.
Lion.
A lion. Man, that's consistent. Lion and wolves are consistent.
I got my butt whooped too many times when I was a kid, so
good. Shut up. Favorite basketball shoe of all time?
The Hyperdunks.
Oh, for real? Wow, that's a first. Okay. Most skilled player of all time?
CJ McCollum.
Wow. Okay. Props. Best shooter of all time?
Clay.
Best cereal?
The Nesquik.
Nesquik.
Yeah.
Like the little chocolate?
Yeah.
Like little chocolate
I used to have them when I was a kid.
Okay.
I love those because it would turn my milk into chocolate milk.
Okay, shout out. Okay. So cereal before milk or milk before cereal?
Cereal before milk.
Good.
Easily.
Good. That's a fast answer. Favorite basketball team?
Miami Heat.
Oh, why?
D Wade.
Yeah, okay. We got that. The Flash. I got you. Were you a fan of the Heatles and all them back then when LeBron and CB and all them came?
Honestly, I didn't like them.
Okay.
And that's when I started switching to D Rose and
the
really,
Bulls.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. More random. I got to be faster. I'm sucking. Oh man. Favorite basketball brand?
Nike.
Best young player in the NBA?
Trae Young.
Oh, Trey. Most clutch player of all time?
Kobe.
Most overrated player of all time?
Oh my God, I don't know this
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Holy, I'm drawing huge blanks.
Overrated. You can't hurt anybody's feelings.
Well,
you might, but that's okay.
Wow. This is
underrated. We'll do underrated first and then overrated.
Okay.
Most underrated of all time. Don't say CJ twice.
Dame.
Okay, Portland. Shout out to Portland.
I love those two.
Good dudes. All right, then now most overrated. Give me something.
D Wade.
You think he's most overrated?
No, I was still thinking
underrated. Now we're going overrated.
Overrated. Man.
D Wade's very underrated. I'll give you that one.
Who is overrated?
Doesn't have to be now. It could be all time.
I know.
Like a lot of people say Bill's super overrated, but it's hard to say when he's playing 100 years ago.
Like you could say, damn, that's.
You gotta say it. This is a tough one. You just gotta say it.
I can't say that because
just say it. I don't care.
No.
Don't say that now. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, who do you say?"
Bill. I'm gonna go.
Don't take that. Who was it? Were you gonna say LeBron?
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go with LeBron.
You think LeBron's the most overrated player of all time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because his athleticism brings him up here. Wow,
Okay.
this is gonna be so bad.
Yeah, people, you're gonna get DM'd like crazy. Okay,
his
cool.
athleticism up here.
Okay.
His skill level's down here.
You think so?
It's
Like skill, technicality. You're talking like ball handling.
Even guys like D Wade.
Okay.
Like D Wade's amazing. My favorite player of all time. But
Yes.
he knows for a fact what moves are going to work for him.
Mhm.
Like he has a push cross. He has his half spins.
Yeah.
And he has counters throughout all of that.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No.
But if you get him to do the same things going the opposite way, he might have trouble.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think LeBron's in that same instance, but even more of a freak athlete that he'll do a push cross,
Okay.
spin back. But if you
Okay.
ask him to do certain things, his skill level isn't up to that same part. And that's why I actually didn't like the Heatles, is because I
Athletically dominated everybody.
I just liked the ball in Dwayne Wade's hands.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
And when he would take his 6 steps backwards and take a running start, that's when I switched to watching the Bulls. And Derrick Rose.
So, okay, this is good. You know, we're going to stay here because I'm a LeBron guy. He's not my favorite player, but I admire him. And it's funny because I argue, I've had these conversations with everybody.
So bad.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. No, this is good. Because people say he's not skilled, but then I ask them, do you consider rebounding a skill? Do you consider passing a skill?
He's one of the best passers.
Okay.
But I think selectively. If there's 2 versions of LeBron. I actually love LeBron when he's playing at a fast pace and ready to get the ball out of his hands.
Downhill LeBron's crazy.
But when he's running the shot clock down to the very last minute and then kicking it up.
and letting people shoot bad shots, yeah.
That's what I don't like.
Yeah, okay, so, because he's not the greatest ball handler of all time. And the reason he doesn't have to be is because his offhand activation is so strong that you just can't. As soon as you reach, he'll turn your whole body on an activation. Yeah, see you later.
And he gets his levels of getting low.
Oh my gosh, for how large he is.
Especially his shoulder.
Shoulder to hip.
If that's coming at you,
you're toast. Yeah, you're toast. So, okay, so I've made this argument. I'm curious how you feel about this. I argue MJ's the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yep.
But LeBron is the most capable basketball player of all time.
Yes. But I agree.
Okay.
I think MJ's the greatest. I think scoring
like legacy,
scoring wise, Kobe.
Okay, yeah, Kobe's the greatest scorer of all time.
All around, LeBron easily. Like if you want to have a good record.
Yeah. yeah. If you want to be a winning team most of the time. Yeah.
Like you would definitely pick LeBron. But the one thing that I'd like over Kobe is that I like about Kobe over LeBron is the fact that it's more that mentality and just winning games.
Yeah, he's got the Mamba.
Yeah.
LeBron don't got the Mamba. The only time I've ever seen LeBron, I'll never forget it, and I'm excited to go back and watch this because it gets me excited every time. I think it was 2010 Eastern Conference Finals. No, it was 13. No, I think it was 10 when he went to Miami. Against? Boston.
Yeah.
Game 5.
Yeah.
They were down 3-1 in Boston. Or 3-2 maybe.
3-2.
Game 6. Yeah. That's what it was. Game 6. And he went for 45, 12, and 10. But he had that face.
He did.
There was a picture of his face. He shot it. The ball was on baseline. He had his hand on his knees, and he was just kind of like looking out. And I've never seen him. He looked possessed. Like, I was funny?
I actually remember that exact game because you don't see that much of that form of LeBron that often.
And that's when people always tell me he doesn't have the Kobe. I'm like, no, he does. It's only been tapped into 4 times in his career. But that's the game where I always tell you, just watch his face over 39 minutes he played in that game. And I'm like,
LeBron's a freak. I'm not even gonna lie. There's been times where I'm like,
it's just not fair.
Like, it's a little bit too much pre-workout. You went crazy before.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the court cuts.
Maybe I'd have to think.
They had it one with Dwayne Wade and LeBron. That is
silly. Yeah.
That will make you re-question everything that I just said. I watch them like he is the greatest of all.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so one more question. I'll come up with one and then we'll wrap it up. Explain. I guess I could almost explain just from hearing you speak. Hit me up on why in the dark, because I know there's a concept behind it, but I want to hear it from the man that made it.
People see it in the sense of just athletics.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of always had this in the sense that it's been somewhat my life to an extent. I didn't really take good care of myself growing up, and I actually ended up in the hospital for a bit for it too. And I found like the darkest times that I've had to be very uncomfortable, and I understood that I had to go through it to get through it. Whereas people are always trying to avoid it and just expect themselves to like shine at any point. So for me, I understood that in order to get to the shining moments, I had to go through the dark. So that's what kind of really started the concept of training in the dark, shining in the light. And it was more so like, this one is the basketball version, but I had it more applied to like literally anything, like studying. Like you could be studying, and then the shining moment is getting that exam mark. So good. All right.
While you were saying that, I'm just gonna keep it going because I keep thinking of stuff. As a video editor, we are in the age. It's called the highlight age, the millennial highlight age. So kids have this funny. It's blessed and cursed, the game of basketball, in the sense that now a kid can shoot 4 for 20, but he knows if those 4 shots are dope. He got some, right? He got a mix. So I'm curious, as an editor, you edit a lot of training film, so you dissect minute details and kind of do that stuff. So I'm curious, in those moments, does it really take? This is a good question, I guess. Does it really take the perfect rep for you to really be like, okay, that's what we were trying to hit in this thing, or is it actually better to see people in the movement and it's understanding, okay, well, actually, when we see it done this way, this is what angle needs to change, and this is what foot placement needs to change. I'm kind of curious your take on that.
So for me, like when I'm trying to teach it, I try showing the way of teaching it, because prior to me actually making tutorials, I haven't done it in this form yet, which I'm starting to. But before, I wouldn't really talk in any of my videos. So for me to show it, I can't really correct it. I have to show the right method of doing so. Now I really want to get into showing the differences between like the start of like the drill and why it wasn't working, and then getting into those small micro details that allowed the drill to be a lot more successful towards the end.
I'm with you. And that's like one of my favorite processes with athletes is getting younger kids. It's almost not quite as fun, because when they're raw, it's fun because you can build their foundation. But I love I call it going into the house and kicking walls down. Like when I get an athlete that's a junior in high school and they've built all these awkward habits that need to be within footwork, within movement, within the way their body trusts length. It's just like, I always tell them, I said, let me walk in your house and kick some walls down. They're like, what do you mean? It's just play. I'm not going to say a word for an hour. I'm just going to watch you do drills. And they're like, then why am I here? I said, you'll know. And then we'll watch and we'll sit there and I'll film and we'll talk. And like all of a sudden you start saying things like, well, you're inefficient in your energy usage. Like you're going directions you shouldn't go, using feet in places they shouldn't be. And that's why you can't get around people certain ways and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden you can kind of, they have the bones of a home, but you kind of get to repaint it, kind of get them down. And that structural thing is, it's cool because you've been blessed to be in both worlds, where you can not only see it and speak it, but then you can make it visual, which is like, that's a lot of things where unless you have a trainer that can actually show you, which is also rare, but for someone to see themselves do it is such a gift. So that's really, really cool, because that's one thing I never had, was like, I wish I could just look in a mirror. It's like you can film yourself, but it's different, because then you can't do the cool, like, I'm gonna highlight your arm here for this reason, or like, you know, so
definitely.
Very cool. Do you, I guess, moving forward, so you're moving more into the realm of training and filming people that are actually training for that purpose? Is that kind of like the goal behind it? I mean, for me to build up this brand to this point, obviously I was still playing, and I had to highlight myself a lot, and that was actually the biggest dilemma that I had before, is I didn't like Instagram. I didn't like Facebook. I actually deleted Facebook and Instagram for 2 years. So then when I got it back, when I invested my money into some equipment, it was for the reason of actually creating something. And I'm trying to get more into the realm of training now, because I'm not trying to prove that I'm better than anyone, or I can play basketball better than anyone, although like if we're playing once, like I'm trying to win every time.
I'm trying to win.
You already know.
And I'm going at you. But now it's more so showing how I can affect other players and how I can help other players reach their goals and dreams. So that's essentially what I'm going to be doing going forward. And then I have a podcast where, you know how I mentioned tunnel vision towards my goals? So my podcast is going to be called Tunnel Vision Podcast.
Very cool.
And it's for athletes that are looking to that maybe don't end up playing pro or college, but they can transition from athlete into something else, or maybe athlete into the pro, and then just sharing stories in that realm.
That's cool. So that's great. That's so because that's actually honestly the biggest trap for athletes is they dedicate all their time and all of a sudden it's either post-college or post-professional career. It's kind of like, well, what now?
Yeah, like, who am I type of thing.
Yeah, especially if you struggle to find your identity within the world of basketball itself. Once that gets taken away, your identity leaves with it. So it's a dangerous world to